I'm not calling you fine artist yet. And that's not an insult, it's just that those of us who are photographers, and Small Stones was doing this, in that fine art and photographer category. How come we're not fine artists? You know what I mean? We all create. So I know they had stopped doing that, and it was just, you know, painting. Well, fine artists for both. It's always been a pet peeve of mine, and it's not disrespect, it's the category and the names that always bug me. It's just my opinion, and that's all you're gonna get from up here, is my opinion, and I respect all your opinion. So if I was to put out the question, what does creativity mean to you?
What does creativity mean?
You guys can all think about it.
Something that makes you sparkle on the insides that you really would like to, in some way, exhibit this to others.
There's no wrong answer for any of this. Just, I'm curious about what inspires people to create.
Make something out of nothing.
I was gonna say that.
Say again?
I copied, you copied.
Oh, that's okay. Nothing mean the same thing to more than one person. Same thing.
That's all, that was all.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay, creativity comes from creation.
From you, I mean.
Yes.
What-
It's, you have to do it, it's a call from inside, from your heart. Makes you go looking for those things, and suddenly it's there, you see the light, and then you want to catch it. And you want to represent it, and it's a call from inside, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at it that way as well.
I look that way as well, but also, what I find, like if I'm doing a watercolor or a pastel or something, my mind is saying one thing, because I'm looking at something to copy or whatever, or feel. My hand has its own idea, and then the paint has its own idea. So that, and then it becomes something that became created through, I don't know, depends on how slanted it is and how much water was applied or how much, you know, and then you just get feeling it and then you just kind of do your thing.
Are you more abstract? Do you think abstract or realistic? When you
Oh,
paint?
am I plein air, you mean, or am I?
When you paint, are you more abstract person?
Oh, more
or-
abstract. I'm trying to be more abstract,
Okay.
but I kind of feel I need to, know what it is that, I still want to identify what I'm looking at, but I'm trying to make it interesting to where if the viewer is looking at it, they want to see more things, like, well, what's that over there, or what's that there, not just a bunch of something or another. I want to kind of have a, like, where's Waldo, you know, or something.
You're up, young man.
Excuse me, I do landscape photography, and not a lot of anything else. When I'm, for instance, walking in the woods, I wait for a scene to call to me, and I discover it, and I work with it for a while. And once I make the photograph, I make it for myself, and I don't necessarily make it for other people. If other people like my work, that's great. But I really produce work for myself.
What was the question?
What does creativity mean to you? I don't remember.
I'm hard of hearing, so.
I'm a hard of talking.
What was the question?
Creativity. What is creativity for you?
What does it mean for
What
you?
does creativity mean to me?
Yeah.
For you?
Oh. I don't know.
Okay, think about it. Because we'll come back to it.
I would say,
For me, creativity is putting together, this is an engineer's viewpoint, is putting together things that have never been put together before, but when they're done, they have some sort of form that is unique and interesting.
But engineer.
You're up?
I'm trying to put things together in a way that I can show you my experience. Like I want to share my experience, I want to share my feelings. I'm trying to capture something from before and share it with you, like in a form. Make something like an inner thought form. I guess it's like you said, it's engineered, it's created, it's things put together and designed and I always say my art has my heart and soul.
Oh, that's good. Down a while, oh. You wanna still wait?
Something new. Something new, something different that for me.
Okay,
Claudia?
Claudia?
are you in on that?
I don't know, I guess, I'm an insurance person, so I'm boring.
No, you're not. What?
But, to me, creativity to me would be something new, a challenge. And that's my perspective of it, is, you know, if I took this, what could I do with it, kind of thing. That's creativity to me,
Mhm.
thinking outside the box.
Now, with all these things that inspire us in one way or the other, I bring up, how do we work with that and make whatever we're producing, be it painting or photography, how do we make that speak for us? If we're gonna take a photograph or paint something that would speak for what he was just saying to you, how would you do that? Where would you start? Or would it even be a thought process? Or do you find that it acts just organically? You know, where would you go with it? I know the things that I go through when I do that. What I typically will do, I'm at the point where I'm not doing landscapes, I'm not photographing things that are out there in existence already. It's the best way to put that. But I will think of things, and my thoughts and images come up from, because of a variety of things, but I'm going to ask a question to all of you. Again, it's just one word answer for each, and no, well, you can repeat because we all connected somehow. So if I start on this end now, what is something you would think of and like, okay, I'm gonna do that right now? Like sort of, you know, a pre-existing notion, not just walking out and nothing against it, not just walking in the woods and then, okay, I'm gonna get that, or I'm gonna paint, you know, a river or whatever. Have you experienced or done anything where it's like, I wanna go photograph this, I wanna go paint that?
I chase moons. I'll chase moons for a while, then I'll chase waves for a while, and then I chase lights. I
So
mean, it's all lights.
thinking of waves will make you go out and paint
Right.
and look for that.
Yeah.
Okay, Gloria, you in on that one?
That's a hard one for me. I'm kinda, I'm into sometimes, like, and it's because of her, but I get into some of these older buildings and different things in architecture that I notice.
So you say, today I'm gonna go do architecture,
Yeah,
okay?
yep.
I'd say almost the vast majority of my photography is travel photography and street photography. And so I seldom go out to take a picture.
Mhm.
I will see something that I want to keep a memory of or a picture of and work with that.
Okay,
The picture that I took that's right behind you, I'm so glad I took that because it's got, the, turkeys that come and roost in our oak trees. And we had a fox come and eat one of them. And so they went away for a while and didn't come and roost anymore. And so I was just really glad that I had a visual memory of them.
But they're back.
But
Were
they came
you-
back, they came
were
back
you
after that.
thinking ahead of time, today I'm gonna get a fox or whatever? Or did you knew they might come and you went looking for them? Or were you surprised when they were there?
They came every day, but they didn't have that sunset.
Good.
I just wanna make sure I'm understanding your
Yeah,
question.
it's like,
What drives me to,
no, it's more of, kind of like a, I'm not coming up with the right words, but it's like, today I wanna make this photograph or painting. I want it to be a particular tree. So you go looking for that tree, or do you just stumble on it and say, I like that tree, I'm gonna photograph it? So I'm looking for the pre-thought photo process.
I'm just driven to make a photograph. So, for instance, recently, Mike Bakunis has made a lot of photographs at the Quabbin Reservoir, and I've never been there. And I liked his photographs, and I said, I bet I could find a scene at the Quabbin Reservoir to photograph. And so
So
I
you
would
were
take a
looking
day
for
and
it.
do that, and just go and see what I could find.
Good.
And
Again,
sometimes,
there's no right or wrong answer
Yeah.
to any of this.
For me, it's the light. If the sun is coming through the window and the lights and the shadows.
You know, what, do you go out saying, I wanna look for the light, I wanna look for these shadows, and do you have a preconceived image in your head going out the door, or in the house, but you know what I mean?
No, mostly my stuff is more spontaneous.
Okay,
And it would be probably, some event where there's something fun is happening and then I'm like, oh, gotta take that picture.
Okay.
But to paint it, would be, you know, I think it all works together for me.
Same thing, I never go looking for anything, it's just how the light hits that thing and tack, I want. Like, I love a watercolor of my granddaughter. She went out of the garage to the sun, I mean in the driveway, and she got this ponytail and a dress that her this part of her, the top of her back was exposed. Just the way the sun hit her hair and her shoulders, I took the picture immediately, and it's everything. If I just see a picture, oh, I want that. It's how the light hits a thing.
For me, most of the time, it's location driven, so I'll say, oh, I'm gonna go down to, to the cemetery downtown, or I'm gonna go down to Worcester, and I'm gonna find your photographs there, rather than search them. But on the 1 time out of 10, like that photograph over there that I put in, I actually went out because I had it in my mind. But that's 90% of the time, it's going to a location and finding something.
I document, as others mentioned, that about sort of knowing, you put yourself in an environment where you see things that will attract your attention and therefore take the picture. So I document in that fashion, which would go toward my preferences. The times that, so I catalog these places. I see them driving down the road and say, I'm gonna have to go sometime and get a photo
Yeah,
of there
like
because I'll
that.
see it. the times that I have actually said I want to make something that is an art image out of these things, it's often a combination of photographs that I've already taken and I want to add something, another photograph to them. An example would be, I got an old typewriter. I knew it was photogenic, so it went on the shelf for a long time, and I went to an abandoned theater, and they had the letters for the theater marquee stuffed against the edge of the hallway, just so that they wouldn't be scattered around. And so I took photographs of those pictures and said I can match, I took photographs of those letters and said I can make a combination photograph out of these large letters and the small ones that are actually on the typewriter. So there created a documentation project that was nothing there before. I'd have to say, if Bob has a 1 out of 10, I've got a 1 out of 100 or 1,000 where that kind of documentation
That's the way it goes, so that, we know that, yeah.
Okay. I've used I have never taken a photography course. I'm starting one February 8th.
Yeah.
But I photograph all the time on my iPhone, constantly. Wherever I'm walking, wherever places I go. I inundate Facebook with all of them. And then I do take some of them and paint them, and people seem to like my photographs more than my painting.
no.
So I anything like, if I just walk down the street, I'll just stop, I'll go, oh my God, that's so gosh darn beautiful, take several shots, and I do it all the time, and I inundate everybody with the photos. It's just so inspiring. Anywhere you go, you find something beautiful.
Well, that's all good, and we have, besides all that, our own inspirations and things that inspire us, and I know that, and I've got them in here, but I know them up here. There are things that I get an influence from, and then my brain starts working on that, and I want to create that image that I've got up here. It can be from dreams if I remember them. I get a lot of stuff out of lyrics and songs. You hear a lyric line, I'm like, it's an image. Besides hearing it, I'm feeling an image. It's like, can I recreate that image that I've got in my head? Now there's series that we all do. If you're gonna do cats, you do a whole series of cats, whatever you choose. Now I had thoughts on the mental health thing. And I'm just gonna show 2 examples from that. Now these were things I came across, I just happened to drive by, but what I like about what you were saying about the drive-by is, I've done that and I said, I gotta go back. Because there's more there and I didn't see it all from the road, if you will. So you're gonna go explore. I've got 2 images here when I was working on the mental health thing. And it's not basically, I did set them up. They didn't just, again, didn't stumble on them. I photographed these with the idea of photographing. That kind of like just came from my brain. And to me, that was some mental health issues, whether it's depression, withdrawal, or just a little crazy like that lady is on her own. I'll get inspirations from paintings, museums, songs, and just the melody of songs will create an image in my brain, and I'll try and basically create that image in a photograph. And many times, we'll see something and the camera may not capture our whole vision at the time. Now you can bring that image up to the level of what you're thinking. It doesn't have to be just as somebody, I placed him in the corner because for me in my brain that was going to work. So, and I'm jumping back and forth, I know, but going through the woods, for example, and finding something, those are just little gifts that we get. You never know where it's gonna come from. And I was asking painters as well, because it's all about creativity. I'm fascinated with a lot of painting is, I have to admit that for so long I would think, okay, you're a painter, you painted that, it wasn't a still life, you just, out of your brain, painted a pineapple, if you will. So that's where I wonder about painters who, if that happens, as a painter, will it just be something that you see or feel in your head and you're gonna paint it, but it doesn't have to be in front of you to do that. So I'm always curious about the creativity lines between both. And I know from painting, I get inspired to do something nice. I try not to recreate the painting, but the feel, the lighting is, I always look at lighting in painting. Because I'm always trying to see if somebody has a shadow going the wrong way.
Can I?
Absolutely.
About what you say that from lyrics, I make this drawing about this. This in Colombia is a beautiful song about this La Juana. Because we were conquered by the Spaniards, then it says from a Castellana Cape came this, but my painting is called The Heart of La Juana. If you have on it, then she's there with that expression. That came from that song. I say, I wanted to put that there. And I have a dream that I always wanted to put out there, but it's so complicated. It says nightmare, and I'm very little, a small girl, and the light comes from me. I'm in the atrium of this, like a church, but no benches, just arches, arches, arches. And right at the altar and this table is the Pandora box. All my nightmares, all my fears are coming out of there. And one of the things that I was very afraid when I was little was skeletons, this part, the craniums. And it comes out of there, small, and it starts growing. And when it comes to me, it's so giant and laugh. But everything is dark out there. I can see the things, but I haven't been able to portray that. I don't have the tools in my painting to put all that there, and the light comes from here. There is a wolf with the ugly eyes looking at me. There is a snake going. At the end of the dream, the nightmare, when this thing gets so high, so big, I say, out. You are my fears, but you don't scare me no more. I woke up saying that, and like for 3 days, my throat hurts. I was with this ugly voice, you are my fears, but you don't scare me anymore. And it hurt, but I felt that I got rid of so many fears. I'm free, but probably you can help me with your, what is the name? Photoshop. Because I really would like to paint those things, but I don't know how.
You'll find a way.
I find a way.
You'll find a way to do it.
I find you to teach me Photoshop.
You'll find a way.
Have you started sketching it? Try sketching?
I have a little thing, yes.
No, I mean just paper, pencil.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
sketch.
some thumbnails, but I can't imagine how to put those darkness there with little pieces of light, and the light comes from me, in the front, and everything is so deep there. That's the thing to create that part.
I know, I don't remember my dreams enough, but every night It's an interesting trip. Now, I have the dream luxury of having Parkinson's. Your brain is all over the freaking place. I have no idea the things I see. When I get up in the middle of the night, I see literally all these, it's like netting, but the squares of the netting are like this big. And they move, because now they've been coming in the bedroom after I go to the restroom. And I can see them in the mirror, which is, I never looked until a couple of months ago. This has been like for a year. And can't see it in the mirror. And I swear there are times I can feel them, because they're just floating everywhere. They've started to take shape, like my dog, but much bigger. And again, just recently, they've come into the bedroom, which was quite trippy, but I'm not afraid of them. I get a kick out of it, and I'll play with them and pull them towards me, and I can go like that with them, and I swear I feel it, which, who knows where that's coming from. I don't know what I would get to photograph that. Could create the design, if you will, in a Photoshop. I probably wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't have the ability to do it the way I want it. But I love the dreams and the dreaming, and I've gotten some photographs from it, but I don't remember enough. But it happens every night, and I look forward to it. I mean, I have hallucinations too because of this thing, but I know they're not real. But I've seen dinosaurs and turkeys, and it's not unusual. I mean, it's kind of a common thing. But I always tell my MDs that I'm fine with them. You know, I'm not jumping off a roof to grab a balloon coming by kind of thing, but I might see a balloon and it doesn't exist. But I think even that, in its own way, comes back on our creativity. Because it can be anything that's going to inspire you, dreams. And I know I have those two things there. And that's dream and that's imagine. And that's what I put there, which I didn't get till I was 75. But anyway, that's another story. But as artists, and I'm including painting, photography, of course, we all have things we want to create. I know with mine, it starts out as my inspiration. Everybody's going to look at it differently. You might look at that differently. I'm thinking, okay, what does mental illness mean to me? How can I put something down that means that to me? And if somebody gets what I feel about it, that's kind of cool. You know, they don't have to. It doesn't bother me. You know, I mean, if you say, "What the hell's that guy doing there?" You know, he's like you, like to say. But to me, mental illness was about things that have to be addressed, and why should they be in the corner, all rolled up and isolated in the corner? You know, not in the middle of a room, kind of thing. But that withdrawal. So it's just so important to me. A lot of the things I'm photographing now and not doing landscape, because, and it's been a few years, I've been in the zone of think of something creative. Whether it's somebody in a field of pumpkins with a suitcase and a hat and an umbrella, it's like, what the hell are they doing there? But you know, it means something to me. It's like when I was doing that series, and I got a lot more to do, I called it the travel art, but was it traveler, travel, L-O-R-E, travel art, and it's like, it was this person, where are they going? You know, are they going home? Are they looking to find a home? Or are they searching for some other reason? Or another place they may or may not want to be in till they arrive, if they ever do. So that's my whole process, is going through that. And I don't know if it comes from when I was working professionally and doing a lot of advertising. We always had parameters, and there were always storyboards, and there were things they wanted created as a photograph, which, I mean, I learned a lot doing that. And I got to a point where I was, I mean, even doing events and everything, you know, it's horizontal, vertical, whatever, I got so bored with that, I started taking photos with my camera going like that. I did so much of that. And where I was lucky was my clients got used to that. So, and somehow I made it work, because you would think it would look like it was sliding, but you get to a point where the composition of it was just a better angle than what it was speaking. And that worked for me. And I had a friend who said, I'm gonna try that, and the client gave her hell. She got a lot of grief from that, but it was working for me, because kind of started off doing some of it and just educated my client just on what I wanted to do with that, and they accepted it and they were fine with it. So, and talking about doing, you know, I always had these parameters to shoot. I would always try to do something that was not in their box. I would do something different, and best feeling was when they took what I did versus what was designed. It didn't happen all the time, but it happened a lot. And that was just a really cool feeling. I enjoyed that a lot. That was the best fun for me, when I could do that and go off my way. I got your way, there's my way. You don't have to take it, but it's in the mix if you want it. So that was good. I'm gonna look in this, but if anyone's got a question in the meantime, I'll take them. I can open this. I can no longer hand hold the camera and get an image in focus. So the challenge is tripod. And I started so many series, but I never seemed to finish them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the two mental health pictures that you brought in, did you say that you asked the people to pose?
Yeah, I set them up what was in my head, yeah.
What did they think of it?
They were fine. Well, one of them I didn't tell what it was about, but he did it. So,
But you know, I have one that look like that one. She's in that position, but from her spirit is coming out. Like when you meditate and you
yeah,
get rid of this thing, then it's exactly that. She's like that in half of her face shows the depression, and the other part is so free with a long dress, so going in the air, meaning free. I never finished it.
Was that a photograph or painting?
It's a painting.
Painting.
yeah, and like I said, I've got,
I don't know anything about
when I've got an idea to go in and do something like that, it evolves also. I don't have the image with me, it's a story, but I remember I wanted to do something with a crucifix. And one they're very expensive in the religious stores, the real crown of thorns. But I wanted to do something with that, and it wasn't working for me. So then I found some old rusty barbed wire. And instead of making the crown, it ended up being, it was like, almost like a cone-shaped circle going down. And I had like this purplish flower dangling in the middle, but it went from crown of thorns to that. How it got there, I have no idea, but I know it started out with crown of thorns, what I want to do. And I've got
Were you
things,
satisfied with the result?
one more time.
Were you satisfied with the result, with the thing that you?
Yeah, it wasn't what I started out to do, but I was satisfied with the end product. But that was a whole thought process. How am I gonna do that? What do I wanna do? This is what I wanna do. Okay, I can try that. Did it work? Yeah, it kinda worked. But it was nowhere near where I started.
But somehow it's the same meaning, no? That
Yeah,
why
it did to me. It ended up, there was a crown of thorns, there was a salvation there in a sense. The flower was alive, so, until I hung it, I guess, but it was, it was alive. And that's what I do a lot. We all use our own inspiration. I do that a lot. I've done landscape, I like it, but I'm just more, I like to have people in my photos more than anything, somewhere in there. They may not be the center of attention, but they're in there. If I say center, I mean they may not be exactly in the middle. I tend to have, I like things that may have a subject more. If you look, if this is a photograph, it's not here. I like to have things more on this side than over there. My eyes tend to do that a lot. Just the way my brain works. But plus, I know, I got tired of doing verticals, turning the camera, so I would just do horizontals, and the file's now so damn big, you could make a vertical out of it. Yeah, I know. As I got bored with just that and doing that, I got tired of the verticals. It's just me, even though these two are verticals, sorry. But that's what I get most of my enjoyment from with photographs. But again, I love to think of things, and the challenge is, how am I gonna put that together? And it becomes a production process. Do I need a prop? Do I need a cornfield with a screen door in the middle of it? And I did that photographing. How did I get the screen door? I walked through some acreage and carried the door with me and put the screen door in a cornfield. I didn't Photoshop that one. I actually carried the damn screen door, so. That's what I do. Let's see what else, words of wisdom I wrote. If I can read it. I know we, kind of like, I may have mentioned something like this. Any photograph we take may not be done. You know, there may be more we want to do with that, so we'll either shoot again or just try and refine, retune the image that, for photographers that we all have. But painters would do the thing. I mean, can't you add a tree that didn't exist when you're doing plein air? Can't you add a buffalo in the field or anything? So you have that's your power to do that. And I know many talented painters, and just detail, no matter what, I'm not using the right terminology, but it's impeccable, and it may be a still life for a person. But if you're photographing somebody wearing a purple dress, a purple suit, can't you change that color when you're painting? Or do you feel that you have to get what they're showing you? I don't mean change
That
features
depends.
necessarily.
That depends. You see, sometimes what we see, I talk about for me, what I see in a picture, and I love it. I wanted to reproduce. I want to prove myself that I can reach that light there in that darkness. But if I know, maybe in my painting, a tree here in the front will give it more depth. Then I put the tree there.
Now, as photographers as well. You're in an abandoned building. Do you ever feel that you want to add something to that scene? Or do you think I should only capture the way it is?
And for me, I only like to capture, I don't like staging things. I just don't, I don't even like moving a blade of grass, you know, I just like to do
It
it.
is what it is.
Yeah, that's, you know, how about you, Mike? You're,
Yeah,
I move things around depending on
I go the way of mostly adding something. There was that old abandoned
Yeah.
thing, and I just, it was just almost undefinable, but it was about this deep with trash and all of them. Didn't know what you were stepping on. And there was a window, there was a dress hanging.
dress.
Outside of a bathroom, there was a bathtub. I was there with Bob and I'm looking at it and I'm like, it needs something. So I got a friend of mine to come down and stand in the bathtub. And I took the photo, just my brains told me, I want something else in there. I don't want just the tub. So my friend came down, bathrobe, jumped in the tub.
And you know, sometimes, when you move, it's impossible to move something. I have a picture. I learned it in the hard way. I took this picture in Paris, and my friend was on the left side of he's walking, he had a ponytail, and his hands like this, and in that house there, it was so beautiful. Then I took the picture, and I painted exactly like that. The guy is getting out of the picture. I'm taking my viewers out of the picture because he's on the left side going. But if I put him on the right side, I won't see the ponytail. That was what caught my attention. See? Then it was impossible to move anything.
Yeah, I mean, you're creating your vision.
Exactly,
And
whatever
that's,
that's
I
like.
mean, that's the way I feel when I do photograph. I must admit, this past year was kind of a take the year off thing. I really did not photograph much. In the last 35 years, it's the only year that I have not done a lot of photography. I needed to take this past year off, and I did. Because there's always the fear of it when I started again. Is it gonna be okay? I don't know if anybody else has ever gone through that, but I've gone through that. So, and even with, like I mentioned, lyrics, I'll still write lyrics down or a line from a song down, hoping that, I've got half a dozen books like this, or smaller, where I'll put something. I may even try to draw an image which is stick figure, I must tell you, and not good stick figure. And I know what it is to create that stick figure drawing, and I've done that. I'll write the lines of a song, a particular lyric. I'll write down, and that's a song to me. Like there's one Tom Waits song. I do not know the name of it, but the line was Semper Fi and Fi Fo Fum. So I'm like, that's an image. How am I going to create that image? I always remember that one. And spiritual jet lag was another one. I'm like, how am I going to create that image? And I like that exercise. It works for me to just keep the wheels turning. God, there's so many that I've written down.
That's sort of like, in a way, the art poetry project that the BVAA has done.
Yeah.
Because they'll create a piece of art and you'll respond to it and make a completely different piece of art.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
you gotta wonder what Tom Waits would think about what you came up with, or what you do come up with.
Yeah.
Better hurry, because you're getting to be an old man.
John Prine is
Yeah.
another. He got some amazing lyrics in there. And oh my God, it was like a brain feast. You could just so many. I remember one time, I counted all the different images on a particular song. And it was kind of about the death of a relative. And going through all the lyrics of the song and the melodies, I know I came up with like 100 different images in my brain as it was playing. So I started counting them. But, I mean, if you get 100 out of a song, holy crap, got a lot of work to do. But that always meant a lot to me, to listen to things that way, and I'll still listen to things to this day. I may not be writing down as much, but it was always a kick for me.
Just talking about lyrics, completely off topic, but I saw that new movie about Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
excellent,
great.
excellent movie.
I needed closed captions though.
You think?
I knew the songs, but it's like some of the mumbling, Hey, I'm just used to closed captions.
He's a mumbler, but a very good movie. I thought excellent lyrics.
It was excellent, it was
Yes, that
excellent.
used to, I can't live without it.
Netflix, yeah, whatever.
Yes,
I know we always talk about doing this or that out of the box, which also makes me think, and I say this a lot, I always say, and I guess it applies to painters as well, you're responsible for everything you let be in that frame. Or on canvas, you're responsible for everything you paint on that canvas. With photography, say, look at your surroundings. Is this the only angle I want to take? Or do I want to move here, 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 and there? See if I see something else? Do I want to put a telephone pole coming out of somebody's head? Now, maybe common thought is, no, you don't want that. But it could work too. But it's just know what's in your frame when you're photographing. Take a look around. If there's a pile of cigarettes on the ground and you don't want it there, you can move it, so you've got options. If you want to go just as it is, then you own that as well. So it's like stretching your, I wouldn't even call that imagination, but it'd be more like just willing to, and if you're thinking out of the box, maybe the box is stationary, but you're moving. So you're getting out of the box, the photographing it, you're creating another box. But it's like, don't be afraid to do that. And I know people who, it's one way and it's only one way, and then they'll go, like, well, what was on the other side? Oh, I didn't look. Look around at 360 degrees. There might be something else that's there as well. And we were talking about lighting before as well. And if I'm looking at a place, well, even a job site, just a location, you may want to photograph someone or whatever. I always look at the light and where it is. And if I'm going to place someone in that frame, what do I want the light to be on them? What time of day do I want it? Because it's going to change morning to evening. It's going to move around, of course. And what location of the light will do what you want to get. And we stumble on situations where the light is impeccable anyway, so we'll be glad we're there, we photograph it. But what if you came back the next day? And if that was an afternoon photograph you took, what's it gonna look like in the morning? Same thing, it might look totally horrible and so different, but it's gonna look different because of the light. You're out doing,
that's Monet.
yeah, you know,
Monet went for every hour, one cup, but
yeah, I've done that. I've gone by a place and I just happened to be there where I thought it was like optimum light. But I was heading someplace else, so I would write the time down and where I was, so I at least had to have a time frame to go back there. So, Not in the winter though, too cold.
I don't know who wants to.
I don't do any winter photography. Rare.
I took one pretty one this morning. This morning, no, yesterday morning. All that snow and the sun was hitting the house in front of me, and was
Oh,
this
yeah.
reflection on the snow. It was pretty. Came out. Then I took the
Yeah.
picture and put it out there.
But I will write the time if I'm in a spot and say, okay, you're gonna be there a half hour.
Yep.
You know, either way, and of course, type of weather can affect it, but still. You know, when you get that evening golden light, you know, and you want that, go back around that same time and sit down and wait. You can always
What's on my mind?
listen to music while you're doing it, or
That reflection on the
cup of coffee, whatever.
I found that if
I'm
you
waiting.
look
Pardon?
at the sunset time, and it says
Oh, nice.
4:48.
Yeah, I've got,
And the mountain rises,
Yeah.
your timing is all off. I've gotten stuck where like sunset is at 2:30, because I forgot that there's a mountain down there.
oh, yeah, and that, you
And it
gotta
blacks out my-
know your location. It's like knowing the time frame that you wanna come back as to what it looks like, and also, you know, if you're at some place and you like it, but you think you're at the wrong time of day, go back. It's not always that difficult to go back, could be, but not always. If you're
Well, the thing is-
overseas, that may be a different story.
Regarding going back, there was a PBS story about the photographing rock and roll artist stars. They were talking with the guy who took the picture of Crosby, Stills and Nash in the front of their album where they were sitting on a couch in front of an old beat building.
Yeah.
And they realized that they were sitting Crosby, Nash, Stills. So they
Oh,
went
he
back,
moved it, yeah.
they went back the next day, and said, let's all go back, we'll retake the picture. They went back and in between, they tore the building down.
Oh, come
So
on.
that's all they had. It worked because we love it.
I think that was Henry Dills did that.
Henry Dills, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good show.
And that's cool, I like that.
Yeah, so that's a vote for taking it when you see it.
Do it right when you see it.
I got some things that I've written down from different lyrics or whatever. One is no fear of pretty. That's
No
a
fear
poem.
of pretty.
No fear of pretty.
Hmm.
To me, that's an image. Another, I love you after dark. But it's-
It has a lot of
it's an
sense.
image.
I love you with that bag on your head.
I mean, another
After
song,
work, you know,
Building a
when you come home.
mystery, you know, that song exists. Building a mystery, I was like that.
That's for a wife. I think so. He telling the wife, I love you after that. When
Yeah.
he came back home from
Oh,
work.
that's you, oh my God. Other one, words that don't have edges or corners. See, some of the things I see in my hallucination, I wrote down. Don't need to know those. Oh, I've got this thing here with the Parkinson's. I mentioned that I can't hold the camera still. So I was starting another project, which I call the 115 project. So I was gonna intentionally shoot everything at a 15th of a second. I mean, I know it's gonna be out of focus, but I was only gonna shoot at a 15th of a second, so that's the 115.
Are you gonna do that project, Al, do you think?
I had started it.
Yeah,
I got so many things I started.
it sounds very interesting to me.
Oh,
Nowadays, though, with this image, you know, the in-body image stabilization, you probably could do.
yeah, I know, I can't use the camera like that. I can't.
Deep in the menus, you can turn that off.
I know.
Oh, there's one other one I got here. Inspiring jazz when she walks.
Wow,
From a song, but that's an image to
that's
me.
a song lyric?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna go find that song.
inspiring
what she was
jazz
wearing.
when she walked.
Well, the
It's
girl
like-
from Ipanema is like that.
My,
Oh, I think this next one might be from Tom Waits. I ain't no monkey, but I know what I like.
Say again? I ain't no
I
monkey.
ain't no monkey, but I know what I like. I don't know. I didn't write it, but
Might be from Monkey See, Monkey Do.
I don't know. Ain't no monkey, but I know what I like. And that's an image to me. So, I like that. I didn't do a lot of drugs when I was young.
Just enough.
LSD only once. But, I mean, we get our inspirations from who knows what, from other photographers as well, other painters, as we said. All inspired by different things, so it's like lassoing that, and if you want to incorporate it in your work or your thought process, that's great. It's great. Any questions?
What's your view on the latest AI-assisted, artificial intelligence-assisted tools that are now out there, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I like it's another tool to play with. I don't see anything wrong with playing with things. As far as print, I've had this discussion with a number of people, like if you're doing an exhibition gallery thing, if it was all created AI, I think that should be noted, not just entered in photography
Exactly.
show. That it should be at least noted, and maybe they'll come up with AI exhibitions if they're not. I'm sure they're already happening, but even when digital first came out, I mean, besides some people saying they were purists and they would never do that, who now I know are doing digital. There were categories in some exhibitions, digital, film. And I'm like, it's all photography. What the hell's the difference? And somebody might say, well, you were manipulating it on the computer. We kind of did that in the dark room, dodge and burn, kind of things. I mean, what do we think Ansel Adams did? Did he dodge and burn and develop? That was manipulating. It wasn't totally out of the camera as is.
he was in the whole sort of pre-visualization stuff. I mean, he pre-visualized what he was going to do, the filters that he had and everything else to
Yeah,
how he would develop it and that kind of stuff. But
which is obviously a great brain. Knowing what your equipment will do, which is very important. Know what your equipment will do. I mean, what's a better brush? Do you use a better brush or better quality paint? Does one dry faster than the other? If that means anything, which I'm just throwing out there. It's knowing what your tools will do. And the more you control it, I guess, I'm assuming for painting, I love that, what I know about light, I can be in a scenario and I'm gonna say, I know what the light's gonna do. And if I do, it's just because I've done it hundreds of times. So I knew what I was gonna get. Did I wanna get it from that spot or not? Or did I wanna come in another time when I knew a better spot or time of day is going to work? But knowing your light, if you learn your light, man, that's like, that'll do so much for you. My God, you know. And I'm old, so I've learned my light. It took a long time, but I know it. There was something else I was going to say. It'll come to me. Any questions? Or did I already ask you that just now? Any questions? I do not say I will never repeat myself. No questions? How long are we supposed, oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to put out that I find a lot of inspiration by looking at art. And it doesn't matter what kind of art it is. I recently saw the George O'Keeffe, is it Henry Moore?
I went to,
yeah.
Boston, yeah.
And it's nothing related to photography. And yet, you can look at any kind of art and become inspired by it as a photographer.
Absolutely.
And
Even bad art,
yeah,
whatever that means.
that is.
Who knows what it
Yeah.
means, but, God, you know, you're gonna learn,
That's from my
bad art could look great, then I guess you wouldn't call it
Sunset. Oh,
great, but it might, you know.
fire, it's probably a sunset.
Which brings me to judging. I love to judge. I love to judge. It's not always easy. When you're picking a number one, and you're picking the last one in the show, which just wasn't a last image and scenario, but I've done that. That's when it gets tricky. I did one
Oh, that just says George
summer, I think, last year, and there were almost 300 photographs.
Wow.
And I had to pick 120 out of that. It was a challenge. It was fun, but it was a challenge because, again, picking number 120 was more challenging than picking number one.
Because you get influenced each time.
And you get, when you get down that low in the judges' eyes, it's like, what makes 120 better than 121?
You had to pick the worst one?
No, I had to pick 120 out of, it may have been like 280. And what I'm saying, once you pick 120, there is a 121. And why isn't 121 120? Because down at that point, you're like, you know.
Yeah.
That's when it gets tough but fun. I love doing it.
Do you find your judging shifts as you spend more time doing it, like a session like that where you obviously had a huge number? Do you have to go back and reevaluate the first ones you picked out and
Yes,
decide?
to pick number one, that's tough. Well, sometimes one will stick out more than anything. You just, as a judge, and for me, I'll know it when I first see it. But, you know, and if you're picking 1, 2, and 3, you've got a group of 3. Now, which one of those 3 is gonna end up being one? Now, if they all affect you in a, let's say, in a nice, even way, what becomes number one? You go to the technical aspect of it more than the inspiring thing of it, if you will. So it's like, when do you start getting extra super picky with it? So you would have been number one, but your mat was totally away from your photo. So the presentation was not as good as the other 2, but the image was strong as all hell. I would rather not get to technical things, but it happens. Doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. Oh, you mentioned AI. I know I'm going backwards. There's a photograph here that has AI.
Do you want him to bring it over so they can see?
I picked it out. You said, I was testing you. I said, I caught you. Sure, bring it over.
Well, actually, I'm nominating Bob to go get it. It's the one with the stars.
Stars in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That one. Let's talk about that one. I like the image, I'm gonna say. I like the image. It's not I do not like this image thing. But it became a test for me. This is one. Now, again, we're not saying it's a bad photograph, that's not what I'm saying. But what I look for in this is what kind of, it affected my judge, maybe that's not even, can't pick the words to say what the hell I'm saying. Oops, sorry, hell, on the video. But, it was just, it made me ask more questions, which shouldn't be a negative, but it was just, you know, it was, I was picking things out that, he said, yeah, you caught that, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah.
So you're saying the stars were put in with AI?
They were added, yeah. I mean, you can do that in Photoshop, you add a sky.
It's a composite, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, and that's not bad, but I knew the minute I saw the edges against the mountains,
That
what it
take
was.
away.
And also, okay, you got the night sky. You got the mountains here, that's totally white. And you've got green trees over here, which kind of shouldn't be as light green as they were, and he darkened them. I mean, but I still like the image and the composition and everything. Still a story to me. But when you're judging, you see these. If you've done it enough, you're gonna know what's there or not. And it was fun talking to him about it, you know, what he did. But I did like the image, there's nothing against it.
Right, well, if we're gonna pick on one of his images, he did the first place one, so Bob, you could just put that down against the wall. Do you wanna
Oh,
grab
he
the?
was first place,
Yeah,
sure.
Bob, do you wanna grab the pipes?
Right.
The pipes are calling.
So if we'll pick up his,
Yeah.
less great AI entry, we'll showcase his first place.
Yeah.
Is that also AI?
No,
No.
it's the same person though, the same
But it's
photographer.
the same maker.
Now we don't know.
I'm gonna tell you how I looked at it. Hold it up. Okay, you got the two bright silver chrome, whatever pipes, and these are a different color, not black and white. But the composition nailed it as far as I was concerned. And the light on the two pipes nailed it for me. They weren't, the reflection is not so much the image being blown out. To me, which you can make that argument if you wanted, but because of the way the light was, you were gonna have a highlight there. He's got texture in the other pipes. The one, he said he did that intentionally, which I was okay with, but I knew right away there was a difference, black and white versus a color shift, if you will. But the composition was very strong, and that was probably my number one thought, if you will. That was that. So you can have one not go in, you can get first prize. I've done that. I've had one not, they just, in Professional Photographers of America, you have competitions at every convention. And you would bring your images in a case. I had one image I never got out of the case. I didn't even judge it out. They just never took it out of the case. And in that group, I think I got 4 first places, different conventions. What? You never know. You can be in, you can be out, you can be first place. You can be get out of here, you know?
But you are a master photographer.
I try not to be out of it, but I've had some be first place one place and then nothing at another one. It never hurts to know who your judges is gonna be. I mean, your work should always be good, but if you know I'm the judge, don't give me a sunset, number one. Because if I don't feel what you felt at the sunset, you're out. I mean, you're out of the prize range. Don't give me a duck all by itself on the waterside shot from above. I got in trouble with that one once, 2 years ago. friend of mine said, I've got a friend in Wisconsin. She wants to be a photographer. Said, you want to look at her work? I said, tell her to send me stuff. So she sent me a duck shot from above at the edge of a pond. So my critique was, it's just a duck. And I told her when I was talking to my original friend, I said, I never heard from her. She said, well, you insulted her. I said, no, I liked one of her things, and I told her that. Well, I said it was just a duck, and probably not the thing to say.
Depends on how you said it.
I don't remember how I said it, but I know she didn't like what I said, whether it was my my delivery or.
Or she have high expectations.
And that's great. I've done things where I had this one image a million years ago, and I kept just sending it in and sending it in. I was never getting anything. I don't know, half a dozen times I sent it to different things, and a couple of my friends said, maybe it's time you don't send that. So I gave up on it. But I was just so attached to that thing. Oh my God. But we get attached to our work.
Yes.
Sometimes there's blinders go up and we don't see that.
And
That may not
also
come
the
across.
level of experience you have. When I go back to my first watercolor, I say, oh my God, how could I think they were pretty?
Exactly.
So,
And then when you get attached to an image like that, you're just seeing, again, you're seeing it with blinders.
yeah.
Or you can go back and say, ooh, that did suck, you know?
Yes.
And you're never gonna please everybody. And I always like it when people see different things in an image. I was going through a time where I was adding little things in images, and they weren't like in your face. They were almost background things. I was getting a kick out of people not seeing it. I had one where I got this. It's a black and white. There's a white horse, which I did
Just the horse.
drop in. And then off to the right side of the black horse, there's a woman with, what kind of material? It was a very thin
Diaphanous.
something.
Negligee.
And so many people did not see that woman there. I love the horse. I said, what about the woman? And they're like, what woman? She's right there. So how deep do you look into any image? So I'll always look all around the edges and see if somebody did that. I always like doing it.
ADDs, we don't see many things.
A lot of things we miss for sure, but I like to do it just to screw around with people and put it in there. Thought it was fun. So, what is our time frame, or are we?
No, we're doing fine, but did anyone have questions about their art in the show that they wanted feedback?
You got anything you wanted? Did you bring?
I brought some work, yeah.
Show us. Put it out here so we all can see. And we'll judge your show.
Is it a duck?
No ducks. If it's a ducks, leave it in the box.
Oh,
No ducks.
And when I say I don't like sunsets, I think it's hard to create a sunset image that somebody will feel what you feel. It's difficult. It happens. I've seen them, we've all seen them, I'm sure. National Graphic has come across some nice sunsets, but I just think they're tough to capture. I'll get out of your
So I
way.
have three pieces.
Okay.
Do you want to choose one?
Show all three.
Okay. Well, we'll start with,
Yeah, show everybody.
this is my favorite photograph that I've ever taken in my life.
Really?
Yep,
That's big. It's a big commitment there.
it is.
That's a big,
And,
huge commitment.
Why did you like it so much?
Pardon me?
Why did you like it so much?
Why did I like it? This is a photograph in Acadia. And I find that a lot of the photographs I find of Acadia, there's a look to them. And I specifically go around and look for things that other people don't see. But this tree, it was the light that made it for me. This is actually taken after the sunset, and I probably have 10 or 15 frames of it taken over a period of time. And this one just jumped out at me. And the thing that I find interesting is, do you have a guess as how tall this tree is?
3
I
feet.
see it. Please.
Maybe not too big.
It's not that high.
Did you soften it up, or is that the way?
I'm sorry?
Did you soften it up?
No.
Because I've got, with tack shop here, and it's a little, not a lot, it's a little softer through there.
It's the way,
You know what I'm saying?
it's the way it was.
Yeah, it's tack shop in the foreground. It goes off a little bit, and I'm not saying that's bad, but that's what I see when I'm
Right.
looking at that.
Yep.
And it becomes like, did you want it to be that way with, short focus, or so it would look softer?
And my intention was to have it all be sharp.
Oh, okay,
That's the way I make photographs.
I got you. So it's off in there. And
Yep.
I'm not saying that's horrible, but my eye sees that
Yep.
it's
So
soft.
maybe because it was after the sun went down, he went with a longer exposure.
Yep.
So he
Is
had
that-
to open up the
was it?
lens.
Is that what you just said?
This would have been a long exposure, yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Although there was no wind.
I like the tree.
Shoot off a tripod.
This one is kind of color, but black and white intentionally.
This is color because it spoke to me in color.
Uh-huh.
This, shall I show this to
Do you shoot in color and convert?
Um,
I always do.
the way I shoot is, this is from the 70s, this photograph.
So that's film.
And this is film.
Film.
And
Okay.
this was a scan of a negative,
Black and white film.
black and white film. And I was a commercial photographer and you shoot color day after day in the studio.
Transparency.
Yeah.
I miss them.
And so what I did to take a break from that is I would go out and shoot in black and white. And I got to the point where I would look at a scene and I'd only see it in black and white. I wouldn't even see the scene,
That's
and
what
the
I
color
do.
in the scene.
Yeah, I'm not really good at shooting color. I see color as black and white,
Right.
but I always capture in color. I always do.
Yeah,
Because maybe I'd want a color someday.
okay.
But I always
I'm
do.
actually thinking of going back to shooting black and white film.
I won't, but go ahead. I'm done with film.
What
I do
was that
miss,
one?
I miss the chromes,
Yeah.
like the 4x5s. Oh my God.
Yep.
Take me to heaven with those.
So I had to do it.
Yosemite.
Yosemite from Tunnel View. I've taken a lot of my inspiration from a lot of the classical photographers.
Ansel Adams.
Ansel Adams, for one. I actually took a workshop with him.
You're
Was that
older than
in
me.
the
What's
Iwani?
that?
Joking, I said you're older than me.
And something that I learned fairly recently, I was a purist. I mean, there's no manipulation of this photograph other than dodging and burning. And I heard a story that there's a photograph that Ansel Adams made in the east side of the Sierras, and there's a horse in the foreground with the light on it, mountain in the background, and wonderful clouds. And he said in one of his books that there was on the mountain, there was a letter for the town. I don't know what the name of the town was, but a lot of towns in the West, they put like a Hollywood sign on their, you know, on the hill behind the town. And he said in his book that he actually removed that in the negative. And for me, that was like such a release. And I made photographs recently where I've manipulated the foreground. You know, it's a small scene, and I don't like that pine cone there, or I don't like that branch there, and I will move it now, and I do it without guilt. But
Good.
Where was that taken?
pardon me?
Where was that taken?
Where?
It's separate.
This photograph? This is Yosemite National Park.
Okay, and the other one?
This one?
The how?
This one? This is just taken on a trip to Maine. It's in a building in Martinsville, Maine. I'd like to go back and see if it's still there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you take the Adams class in Yosemite Valley? If you want.
I took the one at his house.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually met Virginia, and there were, you know, a lot of other really great photographers there. And you had to do a portfolio presentation to get in and all that. And it was a wonderful experience. And the only issue was there came a point where I had an opportunity to speak to him one-on-one, and I just absolutely froze.
Well, thank you everyone for coming on this godly cold day.
And thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you all. Thank you. And I say to all of us, take better photos, paint better images. It's always something we do.